Ever stop and wonder how a massive global company with offices, factories, people scattered all over the planet actually works? I mean, from the coffee you're drinking to the phone in your hand, there's this invisible engine making it all happen. Well, that engine is called Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP. And today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it runs the show.
I mean, really think about it. How does a factory in Germany get the message that the sales team in California just sold 1,000 units? How does the finance team in London know it's time to pay a supplier in Japan? How do they keep all those moving parts from just, crashing into each other?
Well, the short answer is, for a long, long time, they didn't manage it very well at all. Before these integrated systems came along, the business world was in a state of what you could call data chaos. It was a constant, frustrating battle just to get the right information to the right people at the right time. So to really get why ERP is such a game changer, we have to go back and look at the problem it was built to solve. Let's call it the age of data chaos, a time when every single department in a company was basically its own little island of information. And this is what that chaos looks like in practice. The sales team had their own system, manufacturing had a different one, accounting had yet another, and surprise, surprise, none of them talked to each other. So you'd end up with multiple conflicting versions of the same data. A customer's address might be right in the sales system, but totally wrong in the accounting system. It was a mess of duplicated, inaccurate data, and people wasted so much time just trying to figure out which number was the right one. You had zero visibility across the company.
So, how do you fix a world of isolated islands? Well, you build bridges. And that is exactly what an ERP system does. It connects all those separate islands into one single unified continent of data. Okay, so what is an ERP officially? It's a business system that integrates and streamlines data across the company into one complete system that supports the needs of the entire enterprise. The key words there are integrate and one system. It's all about making those different departments, purchasing, accounting, manufacturing, sales, finally talk to each other seamlessly. And the heart of an ERP is a single central database. It's honestly best to think of it as the company's central nervous system. When the sales department gets an order, a signal shoots through the ERP to manufacturing to start building the product, and another signal goes to finance to record the sale. Everything is connected. Everything is in sync. And this brings us to the real magic of ERP. It's what we call the power of one. We're moving away from those isolated silos where departments would hoard their own information, and we're moving into a world of synergy, where the whole operation is so much greater than the sum of its parts. Let's just put it side by side. The old way? Multiple versions of data. The ERP way? You get a single version of the truth. Instead of 3 different people entering the same customer info into 3 different systems, it's captured once and shared everywhere. That time lag, from paper sitting in someone's inbox, it's gone, replaced by real-time access for everyone who needs it. So let's just recap those core advantages, because they're huge. Data integration means way fewer mistakes. Real-time access means faster, smarter decisions. And this one is my favorite: simplified error correction. You fix a mistake in one place, and it is instantly fixed for everyone, everywhere. And finally, you get true visibility. Decision makers can actually see what's happening across the entire business from start to finish. Now, this incredible technology didn't just appear overnight. It actually has a pretty fascinating origin story that goes back decades, and seeing how it evolved really shows you just how fundamental these systems are to business today. It all kicked off back in the 60s with really simple inventory management software. Then, as manufacturing got more complex in the 70s, we got MRP, which helped plan for materials. The 80s brought MRPI, which added financial planning to the mix. But you can see, all of this was still pretty much focused on the factory floor. The huge leap forward came in the 1990s, when the whole idea expanded to cover the entire business, and that's when the term ERP was officially born. By the 2000s, it grew even bigger to include things like customer and supply chain management. And get this, here's a great piece of tech trivia for you. One of the biggest reasons ERPs took off in the 90s was the Y2K bug. Seriously, companies were terrified that their old patchwork systems, a lot of which only used 2 digits for the year, would just completely fail when the clock ticked over to 2000. For many of them, it was actually cheaper and safer to just rip everything out and replace it with a modern ERP system than to try and fix that old mess. Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how. But let's bring it all home. Why does any of this matter to you?
especially if you're a student getting ready to jump into the business world? Well, because this isn't just some abstract concept, it's a fundamental piece of the modern business puzzle. ERPs are not just for the giant corporations anymore. To have any chance of staying competitive, businesses of all sizes need this kind of information management. The bottom line is, whether you end up in finance, marketing, operations, whatever, you are almost certainly going to be interacting with an ERP system. Understanding the logic behind it gives you a massive head start.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. The whole point of an ERP is to create a single source of truth. So, as you start your careers, the real question is this. Once you have that reliable, integrated information at your fingertips, what problems are you going to solve? What new ideas will you be able to bring to life? That's the real power here.